The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized for 4 minutes.
I thank you, gentlemen, for yielding. Mr. Speaker, my favorite part of this building is not the rotunda or statutory hall or even this chamber. It's a simple quote painted above a door downstairs. It's when tillage begins, other arts follow. The farmers, therefore, are the founders of human civilization. It was written by Daniel Webster in 1840. And it's just simply time for some more truth-telling. It's disingenuous to say publicly that we're all of the above for American energy if we do not embrace biofuels. Simultaneously, it's disingenuous to set policy that de facto abolishes petrochemicals and yet admit that we will be dependent on them for at least another decade. Both positions have been made in this chamber. I find this to be either duplicitous or foolish, and I choose to be neither. Our first president, who overlooks this body, was clear about public policy in agriculture. It will not be doubted, agriculture is of primary importance. In proportion as nations advance in population and other circumstances of maturity, this truth can become more apparent. This renders the cultivation of the soil more and more the object of public patronage. This was written 9 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and Washington says more and more he acknowledges that agriculture has always been an object of public patronage and must always be. The initial writing of this bill did not acknowledge that. It did not stand with their farmers, and I will always stand with our farmers. Earlier this morning, our conference made great strides in recognizing our farmers by including elements of my amendment that protect our corn growers and biofuel industries. And with that said, if this final bill, as returned from the Senate, includes further provisions that do not show the proper respect for our farmers, our national security, or the future of nuclear energy, I will not vote for its passage. There will be no further negotiations from my office. I want to make this very clear. I voted for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker because I believe that he was the person called at this moment to lead this conference and this body. And I don't feel that my 15 votes were in error. I have the full confidence that he will take the opportunity to keep his word to this body and to the American people, and this confidence was earned by his willingness to remove several devastating provisions from this bill. And I will remind my friends, as members of this body, we did not take an oath to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. We didn't take an oath to the President. We all took the same oath to the Constitution, and with this oath came a responsibility to the people that we represent. In reference to this current discussion on the debt ceiling, our first president articulated this in a manner that for such a young country can only be described as timeless. No pecuniary consideration is more urgent than the regular redemption and discharge of the public debt. None can delay more injurious or an economy of time be more valuable. By President Biden refusing to negotiate with this body, he is adding to a growing train of usurpations of the constitutional authority vested in us by the people that sent us here to represent them. This is no more appropriate now than it was when it was written by Thomas Jefferson. It's our obligation to get Speaker McCarthy to the table, and it is Speaker McCarthy's burden to get the president to a place that can both meet our collective obligations articulated by George Washington and to secure the future for both our progenitors and our progeny. So I will support this bill, and I will vote in favor of it, and I encourage all of my colleagues to join me in doing so. With that, I yield back.